Welcome to the class of the dismal, no wait, re-talk money in here, I mean the awesome science, the school of economic thought. You in the back with that London mustache, sit down, be quiet, nobody likes you anyways. Now, let's move on to today's topic. Bacon, steak, chicken, or egg, peanut butter and jelly, or peanut butter and bananas, tomato, tomato, cat or dog, tablet or PC, going to college, taking that apprenticeship, Marvel Comics versus DC. Life is full of choices, and when we make those choices, by the way, I always choose bacon, you give up something, and that is economics. Well, there's more to it than that, but that is the basic idea. Simple enough, right? Well, let's flesh this idea out a bit more. Why do we need to make choices anyways? Why can't I have both bacon and steak? Bacon wrapped steak. The simple answer is scarcity. Scarcity is the combination of unlimited wants with only a limited amount of resources. Let's unpack that a bit. We all have wants and needs. Needs are those things that we must have to survive. Our food, our water, our shelter. Wants, everything else. Well, both are human desires to fulfill our wants and needs. I ate yesterday. You mean I have to eat again today? Yes, you have to eat again today. Never go away. And the world is full of people trying to fulfill their wants and needs. That's 6.4 billion hungry people every day. That's a lot of people. Well, we only have a limited number of resources. Think bacon. Bacon. To fulfill all those wants and needs. Do you have a money tree? Without a money tree, or better yet, a bacon tree. She sure is pretty. We have to figure out a way to fulfill these resources. To figure out a way to use these resources, or capital, that we do have to maximize the fulfillment of our wants and needs, which are endless. This leads us to make choices, and those choices have a side effect. In economics, we call this a trade-off or opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative given up in a decision. Because we have to make choices, and those choices have cost, we as a person in society have to decide how best to allocate. If you don't know what that word allocate means, ask a smart friend around you. They should know. Our resources, economists such as me, have three basic questions that must be answered to help a person or society how to best use these resources and make these important allocation decisions. Question one, what to produce? What are we as a society going to even make? What resources do we have to use? Again, if somebody has a bacon tree, please speak up now. I want one of these. Let's say we live in a society that is located near a huge mine of cardboard boxes. We would be wise to use these resources in deciding what to make. This brings up a concept that economists such as myself love, efficiency. Efficiency is the idea of using the smallest amount of input to get the greatest amount of output. Using the resources we have easy access to is the most efficient way to answer the most basic economic question of what to produce. Quick side note, efficiency is a highly important concept that we will cover more later. We'll use a graph to help visualize this, and we all know graphing makes things so much easier. So, this society's most efficient economic decision on what to produce would be those really cool cardboard castles and forts. Look at this thing. It must have been designed by some great architect. It would be inefficient for this society to use resources they would have to pay to receive, like steel from Pittsburgh. They already have cardboard. Why would you need any other building material when you have cardboard? This brings us to the second economic question of how to produce. So now that we know that our society has decided to make cool castles and forts from cardboard, those are really nifty again, we need to decide how to most efficiently and economically produce these things. It's a question that must be answered of how to make them. What technology will we use? How will the labor force be utilized? Will they be time be put into researching new ways of using this resource and creating new products, and much more? All these questions will help give the society a direction on how to best proceed with production of their new product. This leads us to the third question of for whom to produce. And now that we know what we're making and how we make it, who gets to use these products? Who gets to use them? Are they for domestic citizens only? For the nobility? For the children? Are they all for export? Are they for domestic use? Will we sell them for profits or give them away equally? All important questions that the society must answer. Does that sound? I remember that's the sound for graphing time. Today's graph is, let me see, handed envelope here. The production possibilities curve. Well, good. That is a good graph to close with today. What this means, the production possibility curve shows us the different production possibilities of a society between any two products. It shows the maximum output for that society, or as we referred to this earlier, the most efficient output. So, this graph is the most basic of all economic graphs, but it shows us some very important things, and we'll use this graph again when compared to societies for trade. That's a different topic for a different day. On our two axes, we have the two products this society can make. Economists generally give these very generic headings like capital goods, goods for development, and consumer goods, goods for consumption. This is often referred to as guns and butter. So, once we know what two goods we are making, for today's example, we're going to be making bacon, bacon, and cardboard forts. Now, a couple of assumptions must be made when dealing with this, and really any graph. One, this is a snapshot in time, and two, our resource levels are not changing. What this means is we can only use any one resource at one time. For example, if you are planting the bacon trees, you cannot at the same moment in time be making the cardboard forts because you are a resource and can only do one thing at one time. Make sense? Good. Let's move on. Let's say our society can make 50 bacon trees a year while making 0 cardboard forts. Or it can produce 50 cardboard forts a year and no bacon tree. Now that's a bad year in my book. Or some combination of the two. This line is the line that shows these various combinations. It is known as the production possibilities frontier, where no economist has gone before. This line is our maximum, or otherwise our most efficient level of production. It's our goal, our utopia. So, if we are anywhere inside this line, we are what's known as underutilizing our resources, or we're not living up to our society's full potential. And outside this line, well, that's impossible. This line is our maximum, and no matter how many times a coach tells you to give 110%, you can't go above 100%. So it's impossible to go beyond this line. Now, a society wants to be on that line. You need me on that line. Sorry, random movie reference, back to economics. But it can move along that line. And when it does, it has to give up some of one thing to produce more of the other. We already talked about this concept. It's opportunity cost. Now, economists like to throw around the term here, the law of increasing cost, and go give long, fancy definitions. Don't let that scare you. It's easy, I promise. The law of increasing cost is that as we produce more bacon trees, we also must give up more and more cardboard boxes to do this. This is because we cannot, again, use the same resource to produce both. Aw, well, that signals the end of today's graphing time and today's episode. Tune in next time for market types. We'll look at how answering these three questions of what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, not the answers that we get, but how we answer them, will help to determine our economic systems, and we'll discuss the pros and cons of all of them. And you never know, we may even have a special guest or two. Have a good day.